Hello students, today we shall see the next point, that is control statements. In the last lectures we have seen the branching statements. Now we are going to see the looping statements. The versatility of the computer lies in its ability to perform a set of instructions repeatedly. That is, a computer never gets tired of doing the same thing again and again. This is the most important feature of a computer, that is versatility. This involves repeating some portion of the program either a specified number of times or until a particular condition is being satisfied. So in C programming, some part of the program can be executed again and again for a specified number of times or till a particular condition is satisfied. This repetitive operation is done through a loop control structure. So this situation in which the condition statements are executed and again is known as looping. In looping, a sequence of statements are executed until some conditions for termination of the loop are satisfied. So the most important thing in looping is the condition. This condition will decide how many times that portion of the program or the statements have to be executed. A program loop consists of two segments, one known as the body of the loop and other the control statement. Body of the loop is nothing but that part of the program which will be repeatedly executed, and control statement is that statement which will decide how many times the body of the loop will be executed. The control statement tests certain condition and then directs the repeated execution of the statements contained in the body of the loop. The term iteration means repetitive execution of the same set of instructions for a given number of times or until a specified result is obtained. So these looping statements are also known as iterative statements. Statements that are executed repetitively are called iterative statements. So the statements or that part of the body which are executed again and again are known as iterative statements. Depending on the position of the control statement in the loop, a control structure can be classified either as entry controlled loop or as the exit controlled loop. So in looping statements there will be two types of loops. One is the entry control loop and other is the exit control loop. Further we shall discuss this in detail. First we will discuss the entry control loop. In the entry control loop, the control condition are tested before the start of the loop execution. So looking at the name itself, you can understand that the entry is controlled. Therefore the control conditions are tested before the start of the loop. So before the loop is started, the condition is checked and then the loop is executed. So this is known as entry controlled. If the conditions are not satisfied, then the body of the loop will not be executed. So at the first instance itself, the condition is not satisfied, then the body of the loop will not get executed. So you can see in the flow chart, here is the entry in the flow chart. At the first step itself, the condition will be checked. If this condition is true, then only that part of the program which is known as the loop will get executed. This loop, when it gets executed, it will again go back. Again the condition will be checked. If it is true, the body will be executed and so on. So this is a circle, or it is known as a loop. This will go on till this condition is become true. When this condition will become false, it will exit from the loop and come out of the loop and execute the next statement. Okay. Next we shall see the exit control loop. In the case of an exit control loop, the test is performed at the end of the body of the loop, and therefore the body is executed unconditionally for the first time. So again here at the name, looking at the name itself, you can understand that the control is given at the exit of the loop. That is, for the first time the loop will be executed, and when coming out of the loop the condition will be checked. Therefore the body is executed unconditionally for the first time. So looking at the flowchart over here, you can see that entry, first comes the body of the loop. So this will be executed for the first time. Then the condition will be checked. If it is true, then only second time the body of the loop will get executed. So this circle will go on till this test condition becomes true. When it will become false, you will exit from the loop. So you can see that in exit control loop, the body of the loop comes first and the test condition comes next. Whereas in entry control loop, the test condition comes first and the body of the loop comes next. The entry controlled and exit control loops are also known as pre-test and post-test loops respectively. So I have told you that in entry control loop, the entry is controlled, the test is executed first, that is why it is known as pre-test. And in exit control loop, the condition is checked at the last, that is why it is known as post-test loop. The test condition should be carefully stated in order to perform the desired number of loop executions. It is assumed that the test condition will eventually transfer the control out of the loop. In case due to some reason it does not do so, the control set up an infinite loop and the body is executed over and over again. This is the error of the programmer. So whenever you are writing a looping statement, you should check the condition which you have given. If the condition is not given properly, the program will go into an infinite loop. It will not end, and then you have to halt the program by giving al control delete. Okay. Next we will see the most important point of looping. A looping process would include the following 4 steps. So these are the 4 compulsory steps which we have to give when we are using a looping statement. First is setting and initialization of a condition variable. The value of this condition variable will decide how many times the loop will be executed. So first we have to initialize this condition variable. Second is execution of the statements in the loop. That is execution of the body of the loop. That is the portion of the program which is to be executed again and again. Third is test for a specified value of the condition variable for execution of the loop. So the condition variable, which I have told you previously, decides how many times the statement will be executed, has to be tested for every iteration. And fourth is incrementing or updating the condition variable. This condition variable needs to be incremented or it needs to be decremented. So these are the 4 important or compulsory steps which we will require for a looping process. The test may be either to determine whether the loop has been repeated the specified number of times, or to determine whether a particular condition has been met. Any of the 2 things can happen. In the C programming language, it provides us with 3 constructs for performing loop operations. They are the while statement, the do statement, and the for statement. So these are the three important looping statements in C language. So first we will see the while statement. The simplest of all is the while statement. The simplest of all the looping structures in C program is the while statement. The basic format of the while statement is while keyword is used. The condition which we have to check every time is given in this round brackets, open curly bracket. The portion or the statements which are to be executed repeatedly are written over here, and then the closing curly bracket. So this part will be executed again and again. This is known as the body of the loop. So looking over here, when we are entering, the condition is checked. So the while is an entry control loop statement. The test condition is evaluated, and if the condition is true, then the body of the loop is executed. So here you can see in the format, first it is the condition and then it is the body of the loop. So while is an entry control loop or pre-test statement. After execution of the body, the test condition is once again evaluated, and if it is true, the body is executed once again. This process of repeated execution of the body continues until the test condition finally becomes false and the control is transferred out of the loop. On exit, the program continues with the statement immediately after the body of the loop. The body of the loop may have one or more statements. So in this curly brackets, we can have one statement or we can have more than one statements. The brackets are needed only if the body contains two or more statements. However, it is a good habit to use brackets even if the body has only one statement. Okay, so this curly bracket we can use one statement or more than one statement. So we shall take the first example of the while statement. Write a program to print numbers from 1 to 10. Void main, this is the condition variable or the control variable I. We are setting and initializing it to 1. So this is the first step of our looping statement. Integer I is equal to 1. Since we have to print numbers from 1 to 10, initial value, that the first value has to be 1. Printf numbers from 1 to 10. This will get printed on the screen as it is. We are going to print the numbers from 1 to 10. That is, this statement has to be executed 10 times. So to execute this statement 10 times, we are going to use the condition I less than or equal to 10. That is, we are going to count if this print statement is being executed 10 times. So 1 is less than or equal to 10, true. Then we will enter this loop. Printf, the value of I, that is 1 will be printed. Then the most important step, that is incrementing or updating the condition value. Here we are incrementing it, I plus plus. So the value of I now will become 2. With this curly bracket, the control will go back over here. Is 2 less than or equal to 10? Yes. Then enter the loop. Printf, the value of I will be printed. Currently the value of I is 2. Increment the value of I will become 3. With this curly bracket, again the control will go over here. Is 3 less than or equal to 10? Yes. Printf, current value of I is 3. Increment the value of I, now I will become 4. With this curly bracket, again the control will go back to the while statement. Is 4 less than or equal to 10? Yes. Then printf, current value of I is 4. This procedure or this loop will go on till the value of I becomes 11. Is 11 less than or equal to 10? No. So it will come to this statement and then end of the program. So I hope you have understood how we are going to implement the while statement for this particular program. We shall see one more program. Write a program to print numbers from 1 to 10 in reverse order. So like the previous program, we are going to do the same but in reverse order. So for doing it in reverse order, the initial value here will be now 10. So printf numbers from 10 to 1 while I is greater than 0. Printf, what is the value of I? 10. Is 10 greater than 0? Yes. Enter the loop. Printf the current value of I. The current value of I is 10. Since we are doing reverse order, we will decrement it with 1. I minus minus I will become 9. With this curly bracket again will go over here. Is 9 greater than or equal to 0? Yes. So printf value of I, 9 will get printed. I minus minus I will become 8. Curly bracket go over here. 8 greater than 0? Yes. Printf I, 8 will be printed. So this will go on till the value of I becomes 0. Is 0 greater than 0? No. So get ch and end of the program. Okay. So I hope you have understood this one more example of while statement. Next, write a program to print numbers from 1 to 10 n. So this is similar like printing numbers from 1 to 10. Instead of 10, we are going to take now a variable n, which we will take from the user. So int I is equal to 1, the initial value is 1, n is a variable, that is now you can print numbers from anywhere 1 to 10 or 20, 25, 100, 1000. So that we are going to input over here. Printf numbers from 1 to n. While n I is less than or equal to n, this number we are going to take as an input from the user. And as the first program, the same logic we are going to use over here. So instead of 10 here I have used n, means any number. Next program, write a program to calculate sum of numbers from 1 to 10. So it is similar like the first program, but now in this case I am not printing but I am going to add. Okay, so what is the initial value? 1. So initial value, that is integer I is equal to 1. Sum is a variable which will store the addition of all the numbers, that we will initialize it to 0. While 1, the value of I is 1. Is 1 less than or equal to 10? Yes. Then enter the loop. Sum is equal to sum. What is the value of sum? 0. 0 plus, what is the value of I? 1. 0 plus 1, sum is equal to 1. Now increment the value of I. I is 1. I plus plus, that is 2. With this curly bracket again go over here. Is 2 less than or equal to 10? Yes. Come inside the loop. What was the value of sum previously? It was 1. So 1 plus 2 is 3. Now the sum will have the value 3. I plus plus, what was the value of I previously? 2. 2 plus plus, it will become 3. Is 3 less than or equal to 10? Yes. What was the value previously stored in sum? 3. Is 3 plus 3 equal to 6? Okay, now sum will have the value 6. Increment the value of I. I will now become 4. Come over here. 4 is less than 10? Yes. What was the value of sum previously? It was 6. So 6 plus 4 will become 10. The value of sum is now 10. Okay. So I hope you have understood how this loop is working. When I will become 11, 11 is less than or equal to 10? No. It will come to this statement. Printf sum is equal to the last value which will be stored in the sum variable, will get displayed over here. Okay, and get ch end of the program. So I hope you have understood this program. We'll take one more similar type of program. Write a program to evaluate the expression y is equal to x raised to n. In this case, we are going to multiply the value of x n times. So we have written the program. We are going to input the value of x and the value of n. So it is like 2 raised to 3 or 4 raised to 2 or 3 raised to 3. Okay, so we are going to input the value of x and input the value of n. So for example, if it is 2 raised to 3, that is 2 into 2 into 2. That is, we are going to multiply 2 3 times. Okay, so initial value is 1 for I is less than or equal to n. So we'll take x as 2 and n as 3. I is 1 less than or equal to 3? Yes. Come over here. Y is equal to y into 2. Okay, suppose y is a value which has nothing in it. So y is equal to 1 into 2. So y will be 2. I plus plus I is 1. Now it will become 2. Over here, is 2 less than or equal to 3? Yes. Y previously was 2 is equal to 2 into 2. It will become 4. So the value of y is now 4. I value was 2, increment it will become 3. With this, come over here. Is 3 less than or equal to 3? Yes. Come over here. Y was 4. So y is equal to 4 into 2. 4 2s are 8. So now the value of y is 2. Increment the value of I will become 4. Is 4 less than or equal to 3? No. Come over here. So print the value of y is 8. So 2 raised to 3 is 8. So 8 will get displayed over here. So whatever I am explaining, that is the tracing of the program, you please write it onto the notebook for each and every iterative statement. Then only you will understand how this loop is being executed. We shall see one more last program, that is factorial of a given number. You know what is the factorial? For example, what is the factorial of 5? It is 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, or 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. Okay, so this is the program to calculate the factorial of a given number. For example, we'll take the value of n as 3. That is, we will calculate the factorial of 3. So to calculate the factorial of 3, we will do 1 into 2 into 3. So the initial value of I is 1. Is 1 less than or equal to 3? Yes. Fact is equal to the value of fact I have initialized as 1. 1 into 1. What will be the value of fact? 1. Increment the value of I. Now it will become 2. With this curly bracket, come over here. Is 2 less than or equal to 3? Yes. Enter the loop. What was the value of fact previously? It was 1. So 1 into 2, that is 2. So now the value of fact is 2. Increment the value of I. It is now 3. With this curly bracket, come over here. Is 3 less than or equal to 3? Yes. Fact. What was the value of fact? 2. 2 into, what is the value of I now? 3. 2 3s are 6. So the value of fact is 6. Increment the value of I. Now I will become 4. Come over here. Is 4 less than or equal to 3? No. So come over here. The factorial is 6. So 3 factorial is equal to 1 into 2 into 3, that is 6. So this is how we can calculate the factorial of any given number. You just try all these programs with different numbers. Thank you.